Sunny here. Merry Christmas to all of you. And today I want to show you how to play a classic Christmas piece based on an old folk song. What Child Is This? Is what we are going to do on the basically we're going to learn on finger picking, and also the song is also known as Greensleeves. But to me, it's always What Child Is This? So let's get started. We'll break down the song into two parts: first movement and the second movement. This video we're going to cover the first movement. So it's in the key of A minor. So the first note is on the second fret of a G. Okay, and then we go into the first measure right after that. So the first note on the second fret on the G is before the first measure. So we'll start playing the first measure. Let's stop right there. What I'm doing here is I got an A minor and a G chord here. So you go from the second fret on the G, and then you play the first fret on the B string and the open A string together. Keep the hand in the A minor position. That's what I would do, because you're playing the second fret on the G. So second fret on the G and first fret on the B and open A together. And use your pinky and play the third fret on the B string. You slide your hand up, and with your pinky stays on sliding up from third to fifth fret on the B string. You play the fifth fret on the B string, and you play A3 together with that. So it's A3 and B5. Okay. And then you will play the second fret on the high E string with your index finger, and then the fifth fret on the B string. Again, you use your pinky. It's really important you use your pinky on this B string, because you will use that a lot. And you slide your pinky down, and then to the third fret on the B string, and then you will put your ring finger on the third fret on the E string, low E string. You play those two notes together. So that's basically a G chord. So you got your G note, third fret on low E, and D note on the B string, the third fret. And then you play open B string, and then you play open G and open low E together. Alright, so far we have this. Slowly again, so you can watch my my hand over here. And then you'll use your ring finger. You play the second fret on a G. It's very important your fingering. The way you place your fingers, it'll be easier if you know exactly which fingers to use, or just play around with it. That way you can position your hand for the next chord. So for this next part, I'll use my ring finger on the second fret, and you'll see why. Just a second. So I'll play the second fret on the G string, and the open B string, and you play the B1 and open A again, and then you play second fret on the G. Well, your hand's already on the same position. So you play second hand. You play the second fret of your G with your ring finger again, and you move your index finger to first fret on the low E string, and you play that together with the G2 and low E1, and then open G and second fret your G, and then ends on open B and open E together. So far we have this. Let's do it slowly. So start from the beginning. And the last two notes is the first fret on the G, and then you play the second fret of your A and D together. That's basically an E major chord. Alright. One important note about playing finger picking classical style like that is that you try to let the notes rain out as long as possible. So that's why if I do need to switch my hand, I usually wait till the last second and just let my note rain out. So for example, when I was just playing the I keep my finger on the first fret on the E string because I want to let that note rain out while I play this. I let those notes rain out while I play the first fret on the G. So we try to let the notes rain out as much as possible. Alright, so that's the first section, and the next section is a variation of what we just did, but you just play more notes. So A minor, back to A minor chord, it goes like this. So let's stop right there. Let's cover to measure. So start from the G, second fret, using the ring finger, and again the A minor chord position. We'll play the open A, B1 together, and then I finger pick on the second fret on the D, G2, D2. So that's basically A minor chord. And then play A2 and B3 together. And I'm using my index finger on the second fret on the A and my pinky on the third fret on the B. And then play the open G. And then play A3 with my middle finger and B5 with my pinky. And then you use your index finger barring on the second fret and you play D2 and G2. And then second fret on the E as well. And your index finger is already barring the second fret, so basically playing the so you go from D2, G2, and E2. And then fifth fret on the B, open G. Okay, the first measure goes like this again. We'll get one more time, slowly. Okay, and then you go into the G position. After that, you'll play the low E3 and B3 together. Open D and open G. Third fret on the low E. Open B. Second fret on the low E. And the open E and G together. And then you put your hands, index finger, middle finger, and ring finger on the second fret of your A, D, and G string, and then you play those three notes and open B. So that's basically a an E chord with an added A note on the G string. Alright, so those two measure goes like this again. I'm switching position and I'll put it in the angle like this so you can see better. One more time. And the next part, you play second fret on the A string, and you play the A minor shape again. Open A, B1, D2, G2, open B, G2, D2, and you move your hands down and you play like an E major position, and then you play the first fret on the G string and open low E string together. Second fret with A, second fret with your D, and I slide my hand up and play the fourth fret with my ring finger. Second fret with your G, first fret of G, and the second fret with your A. So that one measure goes like this. Again. And then you play open A, second fret of your G together. That's basically an A chord, and hammer on the third fret on the A string. So it goes like this. And then D2, G2, A3, D2, and then A power chord. Let's open A, second fret of your D and G together. Alright. So that last part goes like this again. So that completes the first movement. And then play slowly from the top. Okay, second movement begins like this. So let's stop right there. That basically is a it's like a G with a C bass. I'll use my middle finger playing its third fret on the A string. That's the C. And then I would use my pinky and my ring finger on the third fret on the B and high E string. So A3, B3, high E3. And I'll also play open G string too. So it goes like this. Start from the A3, I'm sorry, play that 3 notes together. C3, B3, and high E3 together. Open G, and then just B3 and E3. Open G again. I will use my finger, my index finger and my middle finger on my right hand to pluck up on the high B and E string. When I play the open G, I use my thumb to go down. Alright, so far we have this. So you do that. So 1, 2, open G, 3, open G, and then you do that again. A3, B3, E3, open G, and this time it's a little different. I lift my pinky up, and I play the 2nd fret of your B and 2nd fret of your E and 3rd fret of your B together. Open G, and that is open high E string with the 3rd fret on the B string, and then the open G again. So the first measure goes like this. Slowly again. Do it. I'm sorry. Next one. Sorry. Okay, so let me do it slowly again. So what I'm doing is I play, that's basically a part of a G chord. So I'm playing the A2, open G, and B3 together, and the open D string, and then you do that again at the bottom, the open G and B3 together, D string again, and then you play open G and open B together, open D again, and then you play open E, D2, open G together, and then 2nd fret of your A alone, and then you play D2 and open G, and you do the inversion chord, and you play the D4, G2, and then you lift up your index finger, you play open G and open B together, and the 2nd fret of your A. Okay, so the one measure goes like this. So we put 2 measures together, it sounds like this. The hardest part, and sometimes I do that too, is that my finger's not forward enough. So when I play, my flesh is kind of dead in some of the string, and try to avoid that. So when you actually play, that's why a lot of classical players play the neck up higher. That way you can give more movement to your hand forward, and then you won't be dead in your strings by accident. Okay, so that part again. Alright, and then the next part, A minor chord shape again. You'll play open A, G2, B1 together. second fret with your D, and then G2, B1, D2, G2, D2, and I move my hand up to this position, and I will play, keep my hands at this position where I play G3 with my middle finger, I'm sorry, E3 with my middle finger, A3 with my ring finger, and I use my index finger barring second fret of your D and G together. Okay, and then once your hand is staying in that position, you will play E3 and G2 together, and then A3, D2, open G, second fret with E and G together, open D, open B and open low E together, and then A2, D2, back to A2 again, open G, A2, open E and D2 together, and then just the bass note, second fret and third fret with E, open A, second fret with A. Okay, so that one section goes like this. I've put it a little faster so you can hear what it sounds like. Okay, so far we have 4 measure. Goes like, start from the second movement. First measure goes like this. Back to the beginning of first movement again. No change here. Same thing. Okay, the last part is different. It goes like this. So that last part goes like this. Open A, G2, B1 together, D2, lift up your index finger, you play G2 and open B together, open A, second fret with G, second fret with D, and you move down to E major position and you play open E, second fret with D, first fret with G together, and then A2 and D2, slide your hand up and play 4th fret with D string with your ring finger, second, and then first fret of your G string, and then you play the second fret with G and open A together, and then we just do like at the end of the first movement, you hammer on the 3rd fret on the A string, second fret with D and G, and play the 3rd fret with A, second fret with D, ends on the A power chord. Open A, second fret with G, I'm sorry, open A, second fret with D and G together. Alright, so the second movement together. Sorry, I'm gonna start from the beginning again. So at that point I play it wrong, it goes like this. So that's the whole song. You can repeat that 2-3 times. It's a very short melody, but the melody is classic and it's just contagious. And enjoy. Hope you enjoy playing this piece, and just meditate on the words behind it and just worship. Thank you for watching.